So I did this video on my Minecraft series that was about ancient aliens, about this show on the History Channel called Ancient Aliens, and it was one of the most interesting videos, interesting series. It's a television series. There's a movie out that has like a overall view of like, well, not an overall view, but an overall like cover of all of the subjects that go into this, that the TV series goes into. But the TV series will take each of the subjects that were in the movie and it'll lay them out so that you can actually go deep, deep into each subject. And it doesn't go that deep. It keeps it very, very interesting. It shows cold hard facts. It shows like how how the idea and the premise of ancient aliens, and the idea is that in the past we were actually our history and all the things, all the religions and all the things that we believe in, all the things that we hold true to this day, have all been influenced by extraterrestrials in the past. And I was watching this show. You guys should go check it out. It's on Netflix. It's called Ancient Aliens, but it is an amazing show. I just got done watching it, and I love like listening to just basic anything about history really. But this is a very interesting show. I mean, it shows very simple things that you can understand, kind of like if you think about the story of Aladdin or a magic lamp that you have to rub, and then all of a sudden this image or this genie appears. Well, back in the day, that genie would have been described as a ghost. Well, today we have hologram technology, and imagine if that, instead of having, maybe it was a lamp, but imagine having a tool that like a touch screen, and when you touch this touch screen, it projects an image up. It projects a hologram, and that's just one example that they give of saying maybe all the things that we described in the past were just because we didn't understand them. Like, imagine if wings on the back of people. Imagine if those are rocket packs, and the only way we could logically think about flying, the act of flying, was with wings, because we saw birds have wings. At the time, we didn't understand how birds flew, or we didn't have any airplanes to know how aerodynamics work. And it was pretty interesting on just how things worked back then. Also, they had all these little amulets. Like, there's this one little amulet that looks like a bug or a fish or something, but they basically took it out and they made a bigger size they put a little engine in it, and it looked like an airplane kinda. And they had a few other pieces. One looked like a space shuttle, but there were these little necklace amulets, and they were made of gold. And all these little amulets like represented things that look like modern day airplanes and space shuttles and all those sorts of things. So I was just watching the video just now, and I just got off. It's an amazing show. But they took this amulet that looked like a space shuttle, and they basically blew it up into a little, one of those little model airplanes, and they put an engine inside, or where they guessed was an engine. And I think they needed to add one fin to it, and it looked like the piece broke off on the amulet anyways. But they added one fin, and they made it to scale. They just made it bigger, so it could fly in the air. And it actually flew. It actually was perfectly designed to fly in the air. Didn't have any trouble, stabilizing or anything. It was amazing just to think, imagine back in the day if we were visited by these beings, or these, and they don't even have to be aliens. Imagine if they're just time travelers from the future, going back in time to make sure that everything happens according to how the time scale that they're living on. Imagine if they're trying to help our time go just the same, or go even better, or maybe we evolve even better. Maybe if they change the past, it changes the future. Who knows? But it's just an interesting it's almost like a documentary. It's kind of like this show. It's just a show on the History Channel. I think it's real interesting. You guys should check it out. If anything, at least check out the movie, because the movie breaks down, it makes it takes all the subjects and puts them in one, and just like gives you an introduction to every subject, and you can kind of make up your own conclusions. You can think about things in your own time, and I think it's really awesome just to think about like the future, and maybe maybe in the future one day we'll be able to meet these extraterrestrials. And they also talked about something. They also talked about ultra terrestrials, which are basically beings that exist on a dimension that we can't understand, like we don't physically know about. It's kind of like in my Minecraft series, I gave the example of a fish. Like a fish won't know that you can go straight upward, but we as humans, we can look all around. Imagine if you were to try and look at, imagine if you saw a society that was all in 2 dimensions. And since you're in 3 dimensions, you can look in there, but how are you going to describe the 3rd dimension to these people who only know about 2 dimensions? And imagine if you picked those people out of that 2-dimension world and you showed them the entire grid of their lives. Like, how crazy would that be? Imagine that we have 4 dimensions, 4th dimension being time, I think. But for all we know, we can only physically perceive 4 dimensions. Well, I've heard that there's at least 11 dimensions. So it's just crazy to think about these ultra terrestrials, maybe terrestrials that live in the same, time. Maybe they just live in a totally different frequency. It's amazing, guys. There's a lot to learn out there. I hope you guys have an epic day, and peace out.